There is a 5-gallon bucket sitting in your garage right now that will do more about the mosquitoes at your campsite than $300 of anything sold for the job. It cost me nothing. I want you to picture the evening you have had 100 times. The sun is going down, supper is finally done, and this is the part of the day you drove 4 hours for. There is a citronella candle guttering on the table doing nothing at all. There is a purple zapper in the tree, snapping away at moths. Somebody is passing a can of spray around like a collection plate. And by the time it is properly dark, every one of you has given up and gone into the tents to sit on your sleeping bags at 8 o'clock in the evening, scratching because the outside has been taken away from you by an insect that weighs less than a raindrop. I ran a scout troop in the North Woods for 35 years, and better than 400 boys came up through it. We camped the same lakeshore sites every June and July, and for the first 10 years of that, I fought mosquitoes exactly the way you are fighting them. Spray, smoke, candles, and complaining. Then a county health man came out to talk to my boys, and in 20 minutes, he turned everything I thought I knew upside down. What he showed me was a bucket. After that, we sat out at those same sites at 9 at night in shirt sleeves playing cards. So here is what I am going to do. First, I am going to tell you what a mosquito actually is, because almost nobody has been told. And once you know it, you will understand why every product on that shelf is aimed at the wrong end of the problem. Then I am going to give you the bucket, exactly how to build it, exactly where to put it, and exactly the one mistake that turns it from a trap into a nursery, which is the part I need you to hear all the way through. Then 2 more things that finish the job, and at the end I will tell you honestly what this does not do, because it does not do everything, and anybody who tells you otherwise is selling something. Start here. The mosquito biting your arm is not hunting you. She is shopping. Only the females bite, and she does not want your blood for food. She has already eaten. She lives on plant nectar the same as a bee does. She wants your blood for one reason, which is that she cannot make eggs without the protein in it. That bite is a grocery run. Every female landing on your neck is about to go lay 200 eggs somewhere, and she needs 1 meal to build them. Now here is the part that changes everything. Where she goes to lay those eggs is almost certainly inside a couple 100 feet of where you are sitting. The kind of mosquito that torments a campsite, a cabin, a backyard, is what the health people call a container breeder. She does not need a swamp. She does not want a swamp. She wants a small pocket of still, dark, dirty water, and she wants it close because she is a poor flyer, and she does not travel far in her whole life. Some of these species spend their entire existence inside a few 100 feet of the puddle they hatched in. She needs about a spoonful of water to raise a family. A bottle cap will do it. The bottom of a tipped-over cooler lid. A tarp with a sag in it. The rim of a fire ring after a rain. A tire, a bucket, a boat, a bird bath, a hollow in a stump. The cupped leaf of a plant. The tray under a potted flower. That is her whole world. And she is quick about it. Egg to a flying, biting adult runs somewhere between a week and 10 days in warm weather, and it can be as fast as 5 days when it is truly hot. So the puddle that appeared behind your tent on Monday is a working nursery by the next weekend. That is how a site that was tolerable in June turns unbearable in July while the weather never changed at all. So the cloud of mosquitoes eating you alive at that picnic table was not born in some distant marsh and blown in on the wind. Most of it was born on your site or the site next to yours, in water that has been sitting there since the last rain. You are being bitten by the grandchildren of the water in your own wheelbarrow, and she is not one animal that keeps coming back at you. She is a crop planted a week ago a few paces from your chair. Understand that, and the entire shelf of mosquito products falls apart in front of you. because everything they sell you is aimed at the adult female in the last week or two of her life, after she has already hatched, already mated, and already found you, which is the hardest possible moment to do anything about her, and the moment with the most product to sell. The zapper snapping away in that tree is the honest example. Somebody went and studied what comes out of those things, and mosquitoes were a tiny sliver of the catch, well under 1%, while the bulk of it was moths and beetles and midges, a good many of which were on your side. That zapper is killing the neighborhood and leaving the mosquitoes to you. The candle smells nice and does very little, a foot or two from the wick. The propane trap at $300 and up will genuinely catch mosquitoes, and it will catch them all week while 100 more hatch out of the puddle behind your tent. Nobody is lying to you. It is simpler and worse than lying. There is no money in an empty bucket, so no one has any reason to bring it up. And after 50 years of nobody bringing it up, an entire country believes mosquitoes are weather, and not something you can do anything about. They are not weather. They are livestock. And they are being raised on your site. So here is the bucket, and it costs nothing, and it works on the other end of the problem. Take a 5-gallon bucket, or any dark-colored container of about that size. Dark matters because she prefers a dark container over a pale one, and it costs you nothing to give her the color she likes. An old paint bucket, a mop bucket, a black nursery pot, any of it will do, and it does not need to be clean. Dirty is better. Fill it about 2/3 with water, then throw in 2 big handfuls of grass clippings, dead leaves, or a little hay, and set the bucket somewhere out of the way, and leave it alone for 2 or 3 days. What happens in those days is the whole point. The grass rots. The water goes brown and starts to smell like a ditch. And that smell is the single most attractive thing in the world to a female carrying eggs, because it tells her exactly what she needs to know, which is that this water has been standing long enough to be safe, and there is organic material in it for her larvae to eat. Clean water does not interest her much. A rain barrel that has been standing a fortnight interests her a great deal. Foul water is a nursery advertisement. Now, if this is already making sense of a summer you have spent swatting, tap the like button. That is the whole ask, and it costs you a second. And it is what puts this in front of the next family sitting in a tent at 8 in the evening. Then stay right here, because there is one mistake with this bucket that turns the whole thing against you, and I am not letting you walk off without it. The health agencies build exactly this on purpose. The traps the public health people use in the field against the container breeding species are, at heart, a dark bucket, water, a grass infusion to get the smell right, and a way to be certain that nothing hatching inside it ever leaves. Yours is the same idea out of a bucket you already own. Now here is where I need your full attention, because this is the mistake, and it is the reason I hesitated to make this video at all. That bucket is a trap only if nothing gets out of it. Build it and forget it, and you have built the finest mosquito nursery on the mountain and handed it your own campsite. So you get one of 2 rules, you pick one and you keep it. The first rule is the free one. You dump that bucket every 4 days without fail, and every 3 in real heat, because 5 days is all she needs in a hot spell, and 4 does not give her time. You tip the whole thing out onto dry ground or thick grass well away from camp, where it soaks in and cannot pool. Fresh clippings, refill, start over. Every female that laid in there has spent her 1 clutch of eggs on a bucket. The second rule costs a few dollars, and it is easier, and I will say so. There is a product sold as a mosquito dunk, and the working part is a bacterium that kills mosquito larvae in water and does not harm fish, frogs, birds, pets, or people. One piece treats standing water for about a month, and with it in there, the schedule stops mattering. For a cabin, a backyard, or a site you return to every year, that is the version I would use. And if you know you will not keep the schedule and will not buy the dunk, then do not build the bucket at all. Drain it or turn it upside down. A forgotten bucket makes your problem worse, and I would rather say so plainly than have you find out in August. So that is the bucket, and on its own it is doing maybe half of this. Here is the half that does the rest, and the bucket is the tool for it. It is the walk. The morning you arrive, before you unroll a thing, you pick up that bucket and take a slow lap, and you will be amazed how much standing water is there. Tip out the fire ring if it holds rain, the cooler lid, the wheelbarrow, the upturned canoe, the bottom of the boat, and pull the boat plug while you are there. Take the sag out of your tarp and your tent fly, because a sag holds a cup of water, and a cup of water is 100 mosquitoes. The tray under the flower pot, the rain gutter, the low spot where the truck parks, the stump with a hollow in the top. And here is where people quit too early. It has to be all of it. Emptying 9 containers and leaving the 10th is not 9/10ths of a result, because she only needs the 10th. That is the whole difference between the people who say, "This does not work," and the people sitting outside at night. Do that lap the day you arrive, and again after every rain, because rain resets the whole board. 10 minutes with a bucket twice a week, and nothing on that shelf comes close, because you are taking the animal out before it exists, instead of chasing it after it has found your neck. And if the neighbors will listen, get them doing it too. She does not respect a property line, and 40 feet is nothing to her. Before I give you the third thing, do the second favor for me and subscribe. There is a whole shelf of this kind of plane, knowing that used to pass down from a father or an uncle or somebody at a camp, and it mostly stopped passing, and I am working back through it one video at a time. One tap and the next one finds you on its own. Now the third thing, and it is what you do about the ones that still turn up, because some will. If you camp near a genuine marsh or a slow creek, there are species that breed out in that wetland by the million, and no bucket of yours is going to touch them. So the third thing is what a man does about the ones that come to him anyway, and there are 3 parts, and they are all cheap. The first part is where you sit. Mosquitoes are weak in moving air, and a steady breeze of 10 miles an hour or so takes away their ability to hold a line and use their nose. So you put your chairs and your table on the open side of the site, out on the point, up on the little rise wherever the air is moving, instead of tucked into the pretty sheltered pocket, in the brush where there is no wind and the damp sits. Same site, same evening, and the difference will surprise you. A cheap clip-on fan at a cabin or a powered site does the same job in a small way, and pointed low at your ankles, it does it better, because ankles are where she works. Still air is her weather, and there is no rule saying you have to give it to her. The second part is what goes on your clothes rather than your skin. There is a treatment made for clothing, sold in a spray bottle, that you put on your shirt, your trousers, your socks, and your tent, and let dry completely before you wear it. It does not go on skin. It stays in the cloth through several washings, and it stops insects landing on you at all, ticks included, and ticks are the reason I care about it more than mosquitoes. 2 shirts and 1 pair of trousers, treated at the start of the season, carried my boys through a summer, and while we are on cloth, she gets through a thin cotton shirt without much trouble. So a looser weave and a looser fit beat a tight one, and a light color makes it easier to see what has landed on you before it gets a chance to work. The third part is what goes on the skin that is left over, and here I will just be plain rather than clever. Use one of the repellents the health agencies actually stand behind on the small amount of skin your clothes do not cover. Read the label and follow the label, especially with children, because the label is not decoration. And skip the folk remedies. I have heard them all, from eating garlic to rubbing on dryer sheets. and the ones properly tested come back the same way. Close to nothing, and a man relying on close to nothing in a bad mosquito year is in for a rough week. Now let me answer the 4 questions I know are coming, because my boys asked me every one of them. Does the campfire smoke help? A little, and only where the smoke actually is. Sit in it and you get some benefit and a lung full of smoke with it. Move 3 feet out of the plume and the benefit is gone. Smoke is a comfort, not a plan, and I have watched a great many grown men choose to be kippered rather than move their chair to the breezy side of the fire. Will the bucket bring more mosquitoes to my camp? This is the good question, and the honest answer is that she was already coming. She is already in your brush, already carrying eggs and already looking for water. The bucket does not call her in from miles off. It gives the ones that are already there a place to waste their eggs, and that is exactly why the schedule is not optional. What about bats and purple martins and dragonflies? All of them eat mosquitoes. All of them are worth having around your place, and not one of them is going to solve this for you. Mosquitoes are a small share of what any of them eat, and none of them will come close to the numbers a bucket and a walk will take out. Put the bat box up because a bat box is a fine thing to own. Just do not put it up instead of doing the work, which is what the man selling the bat box would prefer. And one more, since somebody always asks, do the wristbands and the clip-on gadgets work? Tested honestly, they come back the same way. Right up against the skin in still air, some do a little. Out on a picnic table at the distance, you would actually sit close to nothing, and a man who believes his wristband is protecting him has quit doing the thing that would. And does this really end them forever? No, and I will not stand here and pretend it does. Nothing ends every mosquito, and if you pitch in a bog in July, you are going to meet mosquitoes that were never yours to begin with. What it ends is the ones born on your site and at a fixed camp, a cabin, or a backyard. That is most of what has been biting you. Do it for 1 full week at the same site, and you will not need me to convince you. So here is my last ask, and then I will get out of your way. Hit the notification bell because that is the only one of the 3 that actually brings you the next video. Then leave a comment and tell me the worst mosquito night of your life. Where were you? What month? And what did you try that did not work? I read everyone, and now and again one of you hands me something my own scoutmaster never knew. And I want to leave you with what that county health man said to me on a lakeshore, holding a bucket, while I stood there feeling foolish about 10 years of buying spray. He said, "You have been fighting the ones that are already flying. Fight the water instead. The water is the only part of her life that holds still." I have thought about that many times since, and not only about mosquitoes. Almost everything sold to you out here is aimed at the last 5 minutes of a problem, and almost every real fix sits upstream of it, earlier and cheaper and quieter, where nobody has anything to sell you. Your grandfather knew where the water stood on his place. He walked it and tipped it out, and nobody had to teach him, because nobody had yet offered to sell him the alternative. Nothing here was hidden from you. It simply stopped getting handed along, one summer at a time, one shelf of shiny boxes at a time, until a whole country decided mosquitoes were something you endure. They are not. Go get the bucket, take the lap, take it again after the next rain, then sit out there at 9 at night the way you were meant to, and put the whole business in a child's hands, because that is the only way any of this ever traveled. Next time I want to show you the old way of reading weather off the evening sky, so you know what is coming while you still have daylight to get ready for it. No app, no signal, no forecast, just what the clouds and the wind and a ring around the moon will tell a man who was taught what to look at. I will see you there.